Welcome to Beyond the Board, where we break bread with some of the most interesting industry leaders. I'm Sonya Blisk, Chief Merchandising and Marketing Officer of Whole Foods Market, and I'm honored to host in-depth conversations with innovative and impactful leaders in the food and beverage industry. Today, we're joined by Leigh Keith, co-founder and chief of brand of Perfect Snacks. This pioneering company revolutionized the snack industry when they brought to market the innovative refrigerated protein bar. As one of 13 siblings, Leigh helped transform her father's recipe for a nutrient-dense protein supplement into what became the beloved Perfect Bar. In today's episode, we'll hear how Leigh and her siblings built this groundbreaking brand and the challenges they faced along the way. We'll also talk about how they've maintained their family and their commitment to quality even after their successful acquisition. Leigh's journey is a testament to perseverance, family values, and innovative thinking. Welcome, Leigh. Thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Board.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, let's start at the beginning because I know this is an incredible and very long story. Your family history is fascinating. Your dad was a health pioneer who partnered with Jack LaLanne. I can't remember the last time I said that name.
Right, taking it back.
Yes, but Jack LaLanne, the founding father of fitness and the host of the Jack LaLanne television show. How did your father's career impact your childhood?
So growing up, just nutrition, health, wellness, it surrounded us always. My dad had a whole career before we were even born. Like my brothers and sisters and I came along in the 80s and the 90s. He became vice president for Jack LaLanne back in the 60s. So this whole chapter of his life before us. And so he would always speak fondly about those times working with Jack. That's how he learned how to develop products, I think, through working with Jack. And he helped Jack formulate some of his supplements, some of their protein powders. Jack LaLanne actually had a bar back in the 60s that maybe was a little bit similar to a Perfect Bar in some ways, not refrigerated, I don't think. But so that's just where my dad got a lot of his education. And so fast forward to the 80s when as kids started coming along and he married my mom, it was just always around. I knew as a little kid what refined sugars did to your body. We understood the value of protein, no artificial colors or flavors. It was just what it was. And I think now having my own kids and sending them off to school, you kind of realize that's not totally normal for little ones to really know kind of the nutritional makeup of their food.
That is incredible and quite a gift, I must say. So you and your brothers and sisters traveled around the country in an RV while your dad was lecturing on whole food nutrition. What was it like for you to be on the road and homeschooled with all your siblings?
Oh, homeschooled. I would say free schooled, some of it as well. It was wherever the wind blew us, that's where our next adventure took us. But it completely shaped me becoming an entrepreneur and kind of how I approach challenges. And so I absolutely appreciate it now. I think when we were little, it was a motorhome when maybe there was 6 or 7 or 8 of us, and then eventually a school bus when there was a dozen kids. But it was such an adventure.
A school bus, literally a school bus.
Literally a school bus, not a rock star cool bus. No, it was a school bus. And I could now look back and appreciate my dad was probably a bit of a midlife crisis moment for himself where he wanted to take us on the road and just see wherever the wind blew us and just got us into nature. And I saw almost all 50 states by the time I was 13. So very eccentric childhood, but it totally shaped kind of how we became creators of this brand.
I can see that. All right. So during that time, your dad nailed down the first Perfect Bar recipe. How did this recipe become the business you helped create when you were 19 years old?
So the first recipe, I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My dad had a line of whole food supplements like beef spleen powder,
Wow.
eggshell for calcium, like all of these whole food concentrate supplements back in the 80s. And he naturally wanted his kids to take these supplements as a way to kind of complete all of the nutrition you can't find on your plate every day. But we didn't know how to swallow these really big, like mega food Garden of Life big tablets. And they definitely didn't taste good to chew. So that prompted him and mom to grind them into a powder and mix them with fresh ground peanut butter from probably Whole Foods Market and organic honey, protein powder, omega oils. And by having these sweet treats every day that we absolutely loved, it was our dessert. We were eating those supplements.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that I've just grown up making them, eating them, enjoying them always. And so when I was 10, kind of as a way to help our families make our ends meet, we started selling them in Ziploc bags. And the first flavor of peanut butter, the original, our old stickers on Ziploc bags, it was called Plain. And I'm like, obviously, a 10-year-old named this because I was like, no one wants that one. How about the other ones that have carob chips in it? But we grew up making and selling them to help provide for our family. And so fast forward to the early 2000s, had always sold Perfect Bars since I was 10, a recipe I always loved. Our family was faced with pretty hard times. My dad was diagnosed with melanoma, skin cancer, and I was 19. My brother was 22, and we got together and, as a way to figure out how to take care of our 9 brothers and sisters still at home and help provide for my mom and dad, we started selling Perfect Bars. And the rest is history. It's wild. That was 20 years ago.
The rest is history. So what was the breakthrough moment? Like, when did you realize, like, Perfect Bar recipe, this is a big idea. I want to do something with this.
Well, it was, I would say, probably getting into Whole Foods. So but earlier we would sell them in gyms and juice bars. We would sell them at farmers markets, anywhere, someone would take a food that wasn't quite certified yet to be sold in stores. They're all still handmade on mom's dining table. But every time I would see someone bite into a Perfect Bar, it's like they'd turn around and come back to the table. What is this? And I think that continued to be that motivating, moments for us is every time someone tried a Perfect Bar, if they at all were a fan of peanut butter and honey, it's such a nostalgic combination. It really, it was so fun to see people taste our product. And so I think that very early on, like starting to stand behind those tables and demo this product out to the public, not just your friends or neighbors, that was a big moment for us to say, I think we really have something here.
Yep. And let the customers guide you. And it sounds like you all got a great reaction. I have to say, I personally love your product as well and do think you're like the best sweet treat. Will you share a little bit more with us about your journey with Whole Foods? As you mentioned, that was one of your big breaks, and you actually started with us at our store in Berkeley, California. Tell us a little more about what happened from there.
Our 20-year journey is just synonymous with Whole Foods, Whole Foods Market, I feel like. So we were selling, really it felt like we were pushing water uphill. Think about selling a refrigerated protein bar 20 years ago. This was in the height of the Atkins era. So low fat, low carb was on trend. We are a satiating, fat from nuts, healthy product. We have complex sugars from honey. Like, we by no means were on trend at the time. And also we're in the refrigerator. And think about what was happening in the ambient bar aisle. Yeah. This was the same year Kind Bar founded. Like, Power Bar was still very much a big player. Cliff was continuing to grow and take on the category. Tiger's Milk was sitting there. Like, there wasn't very many players. We do demos next to Laura from Laura Bar.
Yeah.
Like, this was a long time ago. So I say that because, maybe timing wasn't exactly right and on trend, but this is the recipe that we had, and we just had to continue pushing forward. But yet maybe retail and customers weren't totally ready yet, because they were getting plenty of exciting things in the ambient bar aisle, or plenty of exciting options coming into that space. But we had your team leader from Berkeley Whole Foods believe in our brand. We were selling at a Harmony Festivals, like a music festival in Northern California. One of the creative ways we found to sell our product, if you couldn't actually market it to a big store yet. And she came up, tried the product, and said, I'm going to get you into my store. We're like, oh, we've been obviously writing into the Northern California office for a long time. Don't blame anyone. We very much were ahead of our time launching a refrigerated bar, but she walked us in there, met with Brad Hirsch, the buyer, and he had, our poor packaging. It was all hand done by ourselves on our computer. It was just really a mom and pop brand. And there we were, this refrigerated, innovative bar. And he said, okay, I'll give you a 30-day test in that one store.
Yeah.
And think, we're about a year into our business, and we're supporting our parents and our 9 brothers and sisters, and just so much at our backs that we had bet everything on this business. Mm-hmm. We had spent our family's life savings on a candy wrapper machine off of eBay. Everything we had was involved in this business. And so to be given that opportunity, we were going to absolutely seize that. We ended up demoing from sunup to sundown, and that team leader allowed us, thank you very much, I think to really show that she found a good idea. But we stood there, and from store open to store close, we demoed for those 30 days, and we moved more than $30,000 in product. And we were able to reconnect with Brad, and he said, all right, I'll give you 10 more stores. And lucky we had a lot of siblings to do demos. Yeah. So we just kept that going. I kid, but that was really the spark that lit the flame for us.
Oh, that is so great. One, I just feel your passion and the perseverance of your family in doing this. Two, I have to say, I love the fact when I talk to entrepreneurs that almost all of them recall the name of the first buyer that they worked with and who got them in. It's such a cool and obviously
so personal.
Such a personal memory and connection. That is great. So an amazing family background, a really big family. What have been the best memories and the hardest moments of working with your family?
Oh, there is nothing like having family, like whether it's your spouse, your parents, for us, our siblings. But that comes with a lot of sacrifice too. There's no, a lot of times we look to our loved ones to kind of reset ourselves and to leave work behind and to talk about something else. And it was everything for our family, was peanut prices, that latest packaging order, hitting that order for Whole Foods Market, getting into Unify. I mean, it was, years and years and years of just total dedication. And we really we started making this funny game when we'd go to mom's house, like, let's try for 10 minutes to not talk about something related to Perfect Bar. And we're just twiddling our thumbs. We had nothing else to talk about. That, we ate, lived, slept, and breathed Perfect Bar. And that comes with a lot of sacrifice too. Mm-hmm. But the flip side to that, my siblings are people I can trust with my whole heart. And they were there on Sunday morning to get that next order out, to, turn the machines on and go again. And we would not be where we are today unless we had that bond together to really push through. Because over 20 years, you go through phases, kind of each of us took turns going through phases of burnout, I feel like. And so we, whether that's your business partner, for many businesses listening to this, or just your family or whatever it may be, but we kind of took turns lifting, covering for each other, and really getting through all of the chapters of growing our business.
That's incredible. I mean, beautiful family, but also testament to teamwork. And
for sure.
Yeah, we all pull weight at different levels at different points in time to really get things moving and across the finish line. So I know this is Perfect Bar's 20-year anniversary. That is huge.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've read several reports that say only 10 to 15% of consumer product goods brands achieve 20 years in business. So your longevity proves you've really figured out how to innovate with quality products and drive brand loyalty. How does it feel to have reached this milestone?
At first, I don't feel like I'm old enough to have a 20-year-old business. That also means I'm turning 40 this year, so it's exciting. But I'm just so proud of that. I think when we first started our business, it was to simply make ends meet, to put food on the table, to pay for rent and take care of our brothers and sisters. And then as our business grew and it supported us, we looked out and said, okay, now we have the responsibilities. Our team members grew outside of family members to support them. And then you go, wait, this food, I get why Dad was so passionate about this, like delivering really good tasting, highly nutritious food. That's a powerful combination where you can really strike an emotional nerve with food and give that satisfaction, but also really feed your body. And so I just 20 years in, I don't take for granted how special it is to sell a product that I feel is so special. Like biting into a peanut butter Perfect Bar for me, it's like music, right? It takes you right back to that place in your life. And so I personally love it so much, and it's so fun to get to share it.
And you spoke about this a little bit earlier, but when you all started, protein bars were a new thing. They were only in the shelf-stable set in the grocery store. So how did you overcome that? You had lower price point, shelf-stable items. You all were a new item really trying to create this new category in refrigeration.
Oh, there was no, building brand awareness outside of the retail doors. Like we just had to do the dirty work and stand right behind that demo table next to where we were merchandised, because we sat next to eggs, orange juice, milk. Like the refrigerator wasn't even, or that category wasn't even what it is today. 2005 was the same year Chobani founded. So you just think of what happened to the yogurt category since Chobani entered the space. So we sat next to Naked Juice, right? Like back then. And really just the best tactic was to stand right next to where we were shelved and point to it. Put food in mouth was just how we looked at it. Like that's our superpower. If people can try our product and we can show them exactly where it is in the store, because it very much is a Where's Waldo to find Perfect Bars back in the early days. That was the recipe for success.
That makes a ton of sense. And I love the know your superpower. That's probably a good takeaway for any entrepreneur. Okay, so 2 decades later, your prices are very, very similar to what they originally were when you launched. How were you able to keep costs stable while continuing to provide such a high quality product?
We are very proud of that. We've worked really hard to find efficiencies in other areas of our business. It has paid off for our retail price that we launched making them by hand. So we were rolling them with rolling pins, very artisanal way of creating them, and that was very expensive. We also were buying our ingredients from Whole Foods probably, but we were buying our ingredients from retail. And so we had built our cost structure to really support kind of that very early P&L. And as we've scaled, obviously finding efficiencies, buying in larger volumes for our ingredients, and then our manufacturing practices, we were able to take that very same recipe and bring that to a slab line, a cold slab line, very customized for our recipe. But I'll never forget that day when after producing bars for 10 years with rolling pins, I saw
10 years?
10 years.
I didn't realize it was that long. That is incredible.
Yes, people forget that decade. It was a long time. All of us making them, we had grown to 65 manufacturing employees in our kitchen. never turned off. So it was two 8-hour shifts producing product, an 8-hour shift cleaning and sanitation, and then the first shift would show up and start rolling bars again.
And you were manually wrapping all of these bars?
Hand
with your candy bar.
With probably that same candy bar machine.
You bought on eBay.
Good or ROI, that piece of equipment. But we did about 20 million bars the last year. We were hand making our product. And so that was just so labor intensive, and we were able to find partners at that size to really believe in this brand, that this wasn't just a flash in the pan idea, that we really had some possible staying power. So they would invest in their manufacturing process. Because you get these co-manufacturers that they have a set it and forget it with brands that they work with, and they don't want to move mountains in their manufacturing plan or customized lines if they're doing all of that customization just for you. And so we had to really earn that opportunity by growing our business on our own, growing our demand, and such a labor of love. But we saw that product go through that slab line with only a handful of people touching it and producing at 400 bars a minute. And we were like, oh my gosh.
You see the light.
Whoa, it's like the clouds parted. But so with efficiencies like that, with that same quality recipe, we're able to keep our price within probably 25 cents of where we were. We launched, I think, at $2.49, and you can find our products sub $3 now. And even with inflation, it should be well over $4. So we're super proud of that.
That is so great, and it is something to be proud of. So I want to dive a little deeper into quality ingredients. Why is using organic peanuts a non-negotiable for you?
Absolutely non-negotiable. So many people don't know peanuts are very susceptible to their environment, right? They're actually even used as a cleanup crop when converting soil to organic. So
I didn't know that. So interesting.
So we know that they are taking in the nutrients around them in the soil, much more than even other crops. And so it's very important that the soil that around them is very clean. And so organic peanuts are just table stakes for our brand. We do our best to source organic. 95% of our ingredients that we sourced last year were organic. So we're very proud of that. Always shooting for 100. But the peanuts in particular, super important just to produce quality, fresh peanut butter.
Sure. And I love that you source your peanuts from over 200 family farms in Mexico, if that's correct, and actually help these farms to maintain their organic certification. What is your relationship like with the farmers?
We were able to take a trip down to Mexico. I didn't get to go on this trip because I had other things, but my supply chain team went down there and we shot a beautiful film and were able to take that back to our team and it really brought to light just the life cycle of the peanut, like seeing where it starts. And it is, I think, close to 300 almost family farms today that solely produce organic peanuts just for Perfect Bar.
Wow.
So kind of dimensionalizing that and the amount of workforce that supports in their communities, the amount of families that are impacted by just that peanut butter ingredient or that peanut ingredient coming from Mexico. And it takes a lot of work for these farmers to invest in organic. And so by creating a deeper relationship with them, supporting and making multi-year commitments, it really allows them to invest, and then we get to reap the benefit of the organic peanuts. So it's incredible. And most recently, we've thought about as an organization, all right, they do so much for us. What are ways that we can support their community? And we're excited, and we'll share with you guys when it's up, but we're building a beautiful playground for their community and just ways that we can enrich their surroundings as well.
That's wonderful. I love it. It's the ripple effect of not only nourishing people with your products, but nourishing your suppliers, which is great. And then I heard also that you have plans to help bring organic peanut supply to the U.S. and to further support organic certifications for small farms. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, we're very, very proud that, we're able to buy the supply that we need from Mexico and really appreciate that. Then we look here in our backyard and we cannot find any organic peanuts in the U.S., which is bizarre. And so I think there I think they need to see the commitment from buyers like us that it will be worth it for them to take that multi-year process to bring their crops to organic. And so I think brands like Kashi, if you remember a handful of years ago, working on the transitional program, how can we dimensionalize this for them to help them financially get to that place where they can be producing organic crop? So we're kind of breaking that down into actionable steps today, but that's a goal that we're throwing on the board for our company, is to bring, not taking away from the supply that we need from Mexico, but as we build our business, the new peanuts that we'll be looking for, let's try and find some of that supply to be made here in the U.S. And don't even get me started on organic honey. There's no organic honey in the U.S. And we have to go to Hawaii or Brazil or other countries because you can't control how far the bee flies. And then back to there's not enough land mass of organic to produce organic honey here. So
yeah, organic honey is a tough one because exactly that. You cannot control the pollinators.
Yeah, so we just need enough space of organic crop. I think, what is it? Maybe only 4% of organic agriculture is here in the U.S.
Well, I think the stat that I've heard parallel to that is only, is it 1% of our farmland in the U.S. is actually certified organic. So
there's a lot of progress to be made.
Yes. When you walk the aisles of Whole Foods, you see, we think in total around the country, we carry close to 40,000 organic products. So it's kind of hard to connect that in your mind with the fact, like, it's only 1% of farmland, but it really kind of puts things in proportion in terms of what the opportunity
that's right
is for us. So that is great to hear. I'm glad you all are making that commitment and that investment. And then I know also that you all do a lot within the community here in the U.S. and in particular around food security. Will you share a little bit about some of the good work that you all do at Perfect Bar?
Thank you. We partner with the San Diego Food Bank, or Feeding America is probably our largest partner, but also hundreds of charities around the country. We can obviously take a lot of product that we maybe wouldn't be using, and we make sure that that's going back into the community. So we donate lots of Perfect Bars, which is always fun. But then also, let's put our dollars there as well, because Feeding San Diego, as an example, they've got a surplus of food being donated to them. They actually need manpower and money to distribute that food, all the way down to the gas in the trucks that are delivering it. So one of the initiatives that we have that I'm really proud of is we give or we ask that our team members give 20 hours every year to charities of their choice, and that's paid time on the clock, so to speak. And it's a way for us to get together. And yes, we'll still do happy hours, but it's also a really fun opportunity to, meet on a giving line for, San Diego Food Bank and bag, fruits and vegetables and give them away to our community together. And that's really beautiful quality time together as a team as well. So I know I'm speaking to the choir here. You guys really set the bar. We probably look to you as inspiration for how to give back to our community.
But I love that. I love the connection back to food and really integrating that into your culture as an organization. Tell us a little bit more about the culture you've created at Perfect Bar, going, from your kitchen with just your siblings, you had your 60 folks working around the clock, and now, you're a 20-year-old, major player and category innovator. How would you describe your company culture? How does it come to life?
So it was easy to say we're a family business early on, because it quite literally was just brothers and sisters. Then as we began to add team members, anyone building a business kind of recognizes that inflection point when it starts to go beyond just them. It's easy to know what your company culture is in your own heart.
Sure.
It's another job to figure out how you start by writing it on the wall. This is our mission, right, guys? And then you start to put it into action. And I think I've learned a lot over the years, and how, it's a collection of all of the people that make up our team at Perfect Bar. And that's where it starts. It started in my heart. I think it sits with all of them. Why do we show up every day to work? And then it's how we can take action as a company. Big and small, or obviously the programs and how we give back or how we're supporting those farmers in Mexico. That all ladders up to the team members that join our business, I think really recognize where our hearts are in the right place. All the way to our marketing programs. I'm really proud of a partnership that we did with the Jason Mraz Foundation earlier this year. This is another way that we need to figure out how to market and build awareness for our brand, but we can do that at the same time while building awareness for an amazing foundation. And so we were able to come up with a really neat collaboration. And I think that type of work, not only in what we're putting out to our customers, but kind of how we treat each other and where our hearts are as an organization, I think maybe I'm just a little close to it, but I think it's really created a very special culture for our company.
It really sounds like it. It does. As a very inspiring entrepreneur and leader, what advice can you share with others who are launching brands?
I would say find a community around you. I had my brothers and sisters early on, but it was the blind leading the blind. We didn't know what we were doing. And now I look back and I go, gosh, we weren't really pausing to seek out those who had done it before us. We were heads down, rolling those bars and really reinventing the wheel again and again and again. And now, especially with social media and just the amazing networks and communities that are around for this industry, there's so much resource available, as well as mentors and advisors. And so I sit on the board of Naturally San Diego. So one of the chapters of the Naturally Network, we have over, I think, 270 natural and organic consumer brands growing up in San Diego right now. And so our organization is there to support these young founders and brands so we can really make San Diego, maybe we can compete with Boulder one of these days or Austin, but we can really support these young founders so that we see those brands turn 20 years old as well. And so I'd say to those young founders, seek out something like Naturally San Diego, or to build a community, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then just feeling that people, like-minded people are in your corner as well. That's just really nourishing for the soul, and you need it early on especially.
Yeah, and I think that ties to your earlier point as you talked about people are ebbing and flowing, go through periods of burnout and acceleration. That community helps you all around. So, well, thank you for sharing that. All right, you have shared your story and advice on business to get you to this 20-year milestone, which is great. And now we're going to move on to everyone's favorite part, our rapid fire.
Ooh, okay.
Quick answers, ready to dive in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
How many perfect bars do your kids go through in a week?
Ooh, okay. Me or my kids? Let's see. My kids are a half a perfect bar a day, somewhere in their day, usually breakfast, and I'm one perfect bar a day. So probably 10 bars, 14 bars a week in our household.
What is your all-time favorite perfect bar flavor?
It's the dark chocolate chip peanut butter. It's just so good. A little bit of sea salt. It's so yummy.
And what is the flavor that failed and surprised you?
Oh my gosh, we've maybe been a little too ahead of our time with some flavors. The acai back in the day, my brother had made that one. I would say a platform, actually. Our peanut butter cups, they were available at Whole Foods, if you remember. It's our food as the center and then coated in amazing dark chocolate. And it was in a circle form, so you're competing with that candy occasion. And just by that form being in a circle and looking like a peanut butter cup, I thought I was onto something. Hey, swap that junky candy and eat this instead. But we were really competing with an occasion where people did not want to compromise at all on what they knew and loved to that nostalgic peanut butter taste. Although we were exceptionally delicious, it just had a hard time catching traction. And interesting, I think a very smart move my team did is we simply put it in a rectangle shape, which is what you find today, our enrobed dark chocolate peanut butter bar, and it's flying off the shelf. So by putting it in a rectangular shape, it was more permissible. It was a better for you bar occasion. So you were competing with kind of the bar category for taste and not trying to replace everybody's loved peanut butter cup. So by simply changing the form, the food's flying off the shelf. So that was an interesting learning for us.
Interesting insight on customers. And really, it's like, what is the snack? What is the treat? Thanks for sharing. Best advice you ever received?
Oh, I've been so fortunate to work with some really cool people over the years that have taken me under their wing and have found such inspiration from those around me. I'd have to say, though, a conversation that sticks out for me over the years is one that I had with our partners at VMG. So our first and only investors that came into our business. We were 10 years old as a company. I was 29. In my mind, I was still that girl homeschooled on that school bus, like ultimate imposter syndrome. And now we have this business that is heading towards $100 million in revenue. And I felt like in my mind, I was just still that girl not qualified to be doing anything that I was doing. And Kara Rell, one of the partners that has since passed at VMG, she just took me under her wing and became an amazing mentor for me. But her advice was to get out of my own way. She's like, Leigh,
I love it.
What makes you such an amazing business leader and caretaker of your brand? You are ultimate perfectionist. You're, working to create something for yourself and your family, but it's time that you accept that you are qualified and you need to get out of your own way. And that was, something that really stuck with me. And I sure did. I got out of my own way, and it's been an amazing next 10 years for our brand.
And it changed your life.
Yes.
Wow. All right. First 60 minutes of your day.
First, so I have to set the alarm at like 5:45 if I'm going to have any quiet time, because I have 3 little girls, 7, 5, and 2.5. So I, find quiet time in the morning. I'm not a workout person in the morning just yet. I aspire to do that. I'm like a mid-morning exerciser. But that first 60 minutes is coffee ritual with my husband or mud water. And we just reset. We talk, the house is quiet, we read, and then the pitter-patter starts, out comes the little laughter, and our day is off to the races. I feel like it doesn't stop till the sun goes down, but that quiet morning is my favorite.
How to start. And maybe this answers my next question. What daily habit keeps you grounded?
End of the day, turn off the phone, close the computer. It's getting out in nature with my kids. So we have a garden that we're really learning to tend to. Not everything's a perfect harvest, but I love learning. We have a dozen chickens outside, so it's cleaning out their pen, a mud kitchen where they're making mud pies. So I think it's just getting outside and having some, just Zen time, getting a little dose of nature for sure keeps me grounded.
And what's your most important ritual or tradition?
Oh, I think dinner around the table. We had a real nomad childhood. It wasn't, I don't think we even had a dinner table in that school bus for many years. So that the ritual of cooking dinner with my husband and, girls are learning how to set the table and just sitting around and connecting with them. I think it's my favorite, tradition of the day.
I like that. I feel the same way. And I know you said you're not a morning workout person, but what's your favorite way to work out?
Yoga for sure for my mind, I feel like, more than anything. And lifting weights. I think we've got to lift some weights, So I'll do some simple circuits and get a little weights moving around with some cardio. Yeah.
Sounds good. And so you talked about your travels as a child in the RV and the school bus. What is your favorite way to travel now as a family?
I had not been in a motorhome since my childhood. So, years and years later, during COVID, we rented an RV, my husband and I.
Really?
I say COVID, 2020, 2021, we rented an RV to take a family trip to Northern California when airports were shut down and all of that. And I hadn't been in an RV. It comes with mixed feelings growing up.
I bet it
And
does.
we loaded our kids up, and my husband's like, I'm shocked by how much you love this. I was back. That little rattle of things in the kitchen. And I love a good road trip. There's nothing like just, being that close with your family. And it does take me back to really fond childhood memories.
I bet it does. So what's next for Perfect Bar?
Ooh, after 20 years, we really feel like we're just getting started. Still, it's wild to think about what awareness we have to really build up to the category. So we're still single-digit household penetration as brand, very low awareness in relation to how the size of our business. So that tells us the people that are in our brand are heavy users of our product, which I'm really proud of. We can become a product that you look to on your daily habit or multiple times a week. And so I love that. We like to say there's two kind of consumers, those who are avid fans of Perfect Bars and those who haven't tried us yet. So we still sit and think there's so much room to grow just to build awareness into this category. I think the responsibility of being the tip of a new spear, so the first to create a new category, refrigerated bars, more broadly refrigerated protein packaged snacks. In various retailers, that category is made up in different ways. You guys do an incredible job to build your assortment sitting right next to that ready to drink protein in the grab and go, so that occasion's just really understood by customers. But we have a lot of work to do to continue bringing people into this category as the leader of this category by way of size. And then beyond that, we can come up for air and kind of say, okay, what's next? I think something outside of nuts would be a big move for our business that we're currently working on.
Interesting.
So, of course, that disrupts our entire manufacturing network. So if we do it, we have to do it really well. And so I think that's a lot of room for us to enter more school lunch boxes. So certainly something we're working on there. In addition to more, better for you indulgent occasions, as well as, new flavors of Perfect Bars. So more to come from us for sure.
Ooh, well, I will tell you, I fall into the first camp of customer, which is the avid fan.
Thank
so
you.
I'm excited about what's to come. So thank you, Leigh, for going beyond the board with us today. Your family's story of turning a challenging moment into a groundbreaking and now 20-year-old business is truly inspiring. I appreciate you sharing your insights with our listeners today. From their dad's commitment to whole food nutrition to building perfect snacks into a category-defining brand, the Keith family has stayed true to their mission and created lasting success. Perfect Snacks has proven that innovative family businesses can thrive in today's competitive marketplace. Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Board. Until next time, keep supporting the brands that are making our food system better.